Hello friends, welcome to my channel Forex Boss. In this video I am going to show you my price action trend breakout strategy combined with MACD and moving average indicator. I want to make sure you get the most out of trading. Trading is fun, and should not be stressful. That is why I developed this simple, straightforward trading strategy. Okay, so without any further delay, let's start it. Before I introduce you to this trading strategy, let's see what are the things we required to apply this technique. This strategy uses three indicators, which are: number 1, MACD of length 12 and 26, which is default in setting. Number 2, simple moving average of length 8, and number 3, exponential moving average of length 18. This strategy also uses three different time frames. They are the 4-hour, 1-hour and 15-minute time frames. Let's now understand the strategy step by step. Step 1. Identify a trend. First thing you need to do is identify if it is upward, downward, or sideways trend by switching to a 4-hour and 1-hour time frames. The reason both are used is that it will give you the best perspective in determining a trend according to this strategy. Draw a trend line such that 3 points of resistance or support was touched. Since this strategy focuses on trends, a trend line will be drawn on the support or resistance lines of the trend. The criteria for a trend is that there needs to be at least 3 points of resistance or support. As you can see on the 4-hour time frame, this clearly is a uptrend. This is the same chart, only this is a 1-hour time frame. This is just to get another perspective of this uptrend. It is good to do this to completely confirm this trend by identifying 3 levels of support. Step 2. Identify a breakout point. In order to find a breakout point of the trend that was identified in step 1, the strategy will use a combination of the three indicators, MACD, simple moving average and exponential moving average, to identify a breakout point on a 15-minute time frame. This time frame is used because a trend was already identified in step 1 on the 4-hour and 1-hour time frames. As you can see in the chart on the 15-minute time frame, the MACD lines were crossed. When the crossover of the fast length and slow length occurs, this will signal a new trend. This gave an indication that a trend was breaking. The moving average and exponential moving average lines also crossed. So when the MACD lines cross and the simple moving average and exponential moving average lines crosses, wait until the candlesticks go above or below trend line that was drawn in step 1, then identify a point of entry into the trade. So looking at our example, the criteria was met to go to step 3 because the simple moving average and exponential moving average crossed and the MACD lines crossed. Also, the trend went downwards and hit our trend line. This is a signal to go to step 3. If neither of the indicators cross before the candlesticks close and hit the trend line, then do not go any further because the trade does not meet the criteria of the rules. The indicators need to show that the trend broke before it touched the trend line. Note, when our indicators are crossing, the trend needs to be heading toward the trend line that was drawn in step 1. This is because the trend is breaking and a breakout is about to occur. When the breakout happens, we will discuss when to make an entry. Step 3. Identify a point of entry. Okay, so after following step 1 and step 2, in the third step, after the break of the trend line, you have to wait for 3 candles to close on the 15-minute chart before taking your entry. To identify a point of entry, always use the 15-minute time frame in this strategy. Once there is at least 3 candlesticks above or below the trend line, you execute the trade. In this example, there are 3 candlesticks that come below the trend line after our indicators signaled that the trend was broken. At this point, you want to make an entry. Again, this must always be done on a 15-minute time frame to show us that 3 15-minute candlesticks closed above or below the trend line that you drew. Once your entry point has been determined, then you can place your stop loss. Step 4. Determine where to place a stop loss. Place a stop loss past the last support and resistance levels in the trend itself. Again, use the 15-minute time frame to find this point of resistance or support level. In the example shown, place the stop loss above the last resistance level. This will ensure that if there was a bullish move, it will hit the last point of resistance. Use the resistance levels to determine the stop loss. The rules were to place the stop loss above the last resistance level, which is why you see the stop loss above these levels. Step 5. Exit rules. The plan clearly identified a trend, a breakout point, point of entry, and determined a stop loss. The final step is to determine the exit point of your trade. This strategy uses 1 risk to 3 reward ratio. What that means is you have the potential to make 3 times more than you are risking. To do this, the first thing that needs to be done is identifying how many pips there are from your entry point to your stop loss. Since we are using a 1 risk to 3 reward ratio, we would simply multiply the number of pips in between the stop and entry by 3. So that number of pips would be the target number for that trade. As you can see in the example below, the target was hit with a gain of 3 times of our risk. The rules were followed, the ratio of a risk of 1 to 3 reward was put in place, and the trading strategy worked to perfection. This trend breaker strategy is simple and yet effective. There is no need to stress and worry that you made the wrong trade. You follow the rules and do not let anything else make you back out of a trade. If it follows the rules, execute the trade with confidence. Alright, well that's the strategy. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to know my other strategies, please consider subscribing. Also, if you want to see me cover any other topics in the future, make sure to leave a note down below. Alright, well that's all I had for you today. I hope you enjoyed, and as always, I hope to see you next time.